A person who has no knowledge about religion, but who goes looking, is indeed like a lost mushroomer. He collected mushrooms, collected knowledge, collected perhaps some resources, collected earthly happiness, and suddenly he sees that he got lost. People, as it turns out, die, and he thought for a while that others die and he would live forever, and then it hurt somewhere in liver or spleen, and he started thinking, where is the sense of life? Some say there is God, others say there is none. It is some foolishness and nothing more. Fantasies. And he started asking round. Indeed, some say this and others say that. And what do these letters say? I mean those who say that there is God. He doesn't yet believe in anything. What do they say? They say very simple things. Take a look. Just take a look. Life. How did it appear in the first place? How could it have appeared? Did you think about it or not? Well, how? I remember from school that it appeared on itself as a result of millions or billions of years. Really, by itself? I will tell you now. Don't trust me. Trust the scientists. What do they say? They say the following: the probability that the life of a DNA molecule appeared on itself is 10 in the minus 8,000th degree. It's 80,000 zeros. Could it have happened? It appeared on itself, indeed. The probability that the life appeared from a connection of already existing molecules is 200 in minus 255th degree. The mathematicians calculated the probability that life appeared on Earth. According to the laws of numbers, we had no right to appear, and if we did appear, we shouldn't have survived. And a believer says, what do you think? Imagine billiards of letters falling down from above. How soon an encyclopedia will appear? Any encyclopedia. A Soviet one, a theologian one? Well, no. And what about a color TV? Will it get collected if details fall? No. So one living cell is millions times more complicated than any TV set, encyclopedia, computer. So how could it have all appeared just from atoms falling down? And they got organized. Even this is impossible. One boy, having come from school, announced to his father, "Dad, there is no God. Our teacher told so." He said, "Oh, so interesting. Yeah, indeed. I didn't know that. Okay, okay, I will know, thank you." Next morning, Dad came out and drew some circles, squares, some geometric figures. And then son came out and said, "Dad, take a look, someone drew these figures." "What? These figures? What? But it appeared all on itself." "Really? It is impossible." "Oh, impossible. Even this is impossible." And life appeared on itself. Imagine what you are comparing. Here is the comparison. If there is higher intelligence that is called God by religion, and there is nothing, why it doesn't exist? Why does it exist? Take a look where the probability is greater. Just life, this beauty that Pythagoras called all this world cosmos, that is translated from Greek as beauty. Everybody has been impressed by it. Could it have appeared all by itself? This is a very strange faith. Everybody should realize that there is intelligence, perfect intelligence, that could have created what we see. So you see, science, it means anthropic principle from the word anthropos, a human being. A human being is a reasonable being, and science claims there is anthropic principle in the world. That means that it has been all done intentionally. So with rationality, a lot of scientists spoke of it. The anthropic principle claims in such a way the probability of a cell could appear on itself is at least the same as some monkey would 400 times type the full text of the Bible without a single mistake. It would be a genius monkey, but without a single mistake. Unbelievable. Who could suppose that? No one. Atheist says yes. Yes, a monkey could print the Bible 400 times. As for the probability, to talk of probability, let's imagine a different picture. Let's imagine a very clever mathematician at table, very clever, and a curtained window. And behind that window there is a giraffe walking round. I can imagine a horse, but a giraffe with a long neck, a neck of 3 or 2 meters. And a student walks in. He has a pass-fail exam. He would like to be asked about a giraffe, but this is highly unlikely. And professor says to a student, prove that there is a giraffe. Such a question was not expected from a mathematician, but prove a giraffe exists. And he started to say the following: a giraffe cannot exist. The reason is simple. A neck is so long. Where does it live? In Kenya, in Africa, there are many lions, leopards. They would have bitten this long neck, and the giraffe couldn't protect itself. What would it do in face of a lion? It is impossible. Such a long neck. So all the vascular system couldn't survive. The student is in despair. He should prove, he must prove there is a giraffe. So he collected his thoughts and said, dear professor, let's find out what it means to prove something. Okay, go on. So, what it means to prove existence of some real thing? How we can prove what it means to prove existence of some real object? It means to convince, to show, to demonstrate that it exists. How we can do this? by two ways only. First is the easiest one. Believe. You should trust someone who saw. Professor says, yeah, you can believe or you cannot believe. Why should I trust everybody that they saw a giraffe? Student doesn't give up and says, okay, dear professor, there is another way. All right. The following. We should offer a real way to check this suggestion, and the person will be able to make sure themselves. You, dear professor, do not believe that there is a giraffe. Please go to the zoo and make sure. I will pay for your ticket. Just give me the best grade. Professor is absolutely happy. I will give you the best grade. You did prove, indeed. What it means to prove? They often say, please prove there is God. Ask a question, what does it mean to prove? What does it mean to prove that something exists? There are just two ways to do this. Either you trust people who are undoubtedly honest. One person can make a mistake. No, there are many people who claim something or someone exists. I saw, and I saw. You either trust, or in the end, if you can't, you can say you should do this and that to make sure yourself that it is so indeed. So you understand what it means to prove. To prove means to give someone a chance to make sure themselves of something. Once in our academia, the head of the Institute of Scientific Atheism came here. We had a conversation, and I won't tell his name. He is a philosophy doctor. I said, we exchange opinions, but I have a question. And the question is not mine. These terrible students they just can't leave me alone. There is one question only you can answer. I can't. What? They keep asking me, what should we do to make sure there is no God? He is a clever person, and he understood all the strength and cunningness of this question. What can we do to make sure there is no God? What? To become a scientist. I will enumerate you a few scientists, starting Коперник,
Ньютон, Ломоносов, Гальвани, Вольта, Ампер, Мендель, Дюма, Ковалевская, Пастер, Попов, Менделеев, Павлов, Флоренский, Шмидт, Шрёдингер, Филатов, Лука, Война и Синецкий, Леметр, Гейзенберг, Бройль. Бесчисленное количество
an endless number of scientists.
Это звезды первой
These are the stars of science, those who are #1 scientists of the world science, who claim, I do believe there is God. What should one do to make sure there is no God? The main question to atheism. Atheism claims there is no God, and it can't answer its own main question, something it is based on. He couldn't answer, and I said, I know the answer. You should go to a rock concert. I was in the United States once at 1 a.m. I opened a door Then I shut it closed, and I said to Americans, if you don't believe there is hell, just take a look in here. If there is hell, there is also paradise. Atheism doesn't answer the main question. The question without which all this viewpoint, all this worldview falls down as a car house. It just collapses, and religion keeps repeating, all the preachers, teachers, lecturers, you should do this and that to make sure there is God. Dear person, there is a way. Here is a way to find out there is a giraffe. Here is a ticket. Here you should go to zoo, to the Kenyan Park. Here it is. There is a way to God. Indeed, an inner way, there is a way, and many witnesses, such witnesses who couldn't let lies even in thoughts. They claim that there is God, and millions of them had a choice. Either they say there is God, and to have to undergo terrible tortures and death, or to say there is no God and to be set free. And they said there is God, and they died. What is it? Are they all just crazy? Millions and millions of ascets, martyrs, are they all crazy? I'm sorry, maybe we should think, who is more crazy? Perhaps me, when I claim there is no God while drinking coffee, of these people facing tortures and death. These are not single people. We can find single people anywhere who can die for some idea. Hundreds maybe, but here an endless number of people who spilled their blood for faith in God. This is the scale that is evident to testify that people didn't just claim they think there is God as it seems to them. It doesn't seem to them, but no, there is an affirmative yes, they are positive there is God. They felt it and lived it with all their essence, and in such a way that they are ready to give away their life for this. As Reverend Serafim Sarovsky said, a person who felt God and the kingdom of heaven that is inside a person would be ready to live thousands of years in a room filled with worms who would bite them all the time, in order not to lose this kingdom of heaven. Indeed, we find Martyr Evstrati, who had his skin torn off from him, and oil, hot oil, was being spilled on him. He said, "These torches are my happiness." And there are other martyrs who claim the same. And please imagine which believer could just survive the life they were living, like forest, animals, darkness, frosts, and just the mosquitoes in summer, those terrible mosquitoes, those horrors around. Who could do that if inside there is no fire
присутствие Божие
of God's presence.
никто не может.
No one could ever do this.
И таких подвижников
And there are numerous monks of the kind.
Христианство указывает
And the
путь для
Christianity
обретения
shows a way how one should gain this,
познания
how a
Бога.
person can
Познание
get to
Бога.
know God.
Вот к чему указывает путь христианства. Да, ты хочешь знать?
You want to know,
Пожалуйста, с удовольствием.
please,
О,
with great
где эти истинные
pleasure.
люди?
Where
Где
are
эта
these
жизнь?
sincere people? Please show me.
Где он, этот человек,
Where
который
is this
искренне
person who
хочет
sincerely
увидеть Бога?
wants to see God?
Покажите его.
Please show them.
Знаете, почему я спрашиваю?
You know why I'm saying this?
Не осталось
There are
таких
almost
людей.
no people of the kind.
Как-то одного спросили святого, почему же не
One
стало
saint was
святым?
asked, why
Стать
there are no
духовником.
saints
Он
anymore?
ответил, не
And he
стало
said,
послушников.
there are no saint teachers
Серафима
because there are no
спросили,
pupils who would
Он
like to
ответил,
follow them. Reverend
потому что
Seraphim
нет
said,
решимости.
because there is no decisiveness,
как плывем по реке,
determination and perseverance.
как
We live
чурка
as it
плывет по
goes,
реке, куда течение
like the
несет,
river flows,
туда и плывет.
and we follow
Где
it.
он, человек,
Where is the
где он, этот
person,
искренний человек,
a sincere
который ни
person
ради чего-нибудь,
who
а
is
только
looking
ради
for God
истины
not just for
ищет и
something,
хочет
but he just wants
познать
to
Бога,
find
увидеть
truth,
Бога.
to get to know God?
Где он?
Where
Их
are they?
становится всё меньше
Less
и
and
меньше.
less people are
Кстати,
looking
об
for
этом
God.
предрекали
This was
отцы
prophesied,
древней церкви,
and
первых
the
веков
holy
христианства,
fathers of the first centuries told us
всё
about that.
мельче и уже становится тот
That,
источник,
Unfortunately, the
тот ручеёк
the
людей,
river of people, the number of
Бога.
people who are looking for
Кто
God would
ищет
become
Бога?
still
Вот если
more
бы
shallow,
это
and the stream would become more
Ищут
shallow
немножко
and
так
smaller.
иногда,
Sometimes there
но
are some
остаются
people who are
язычниками Божьими.
looking, but sometimes they
А сразу
remain
забегая
pagans
вперед,
in
скажу
real
вам,
life.
Скажу вам, чем отличается понятие
And
веры
what is the
в
difference
православии
of faith in
от
orthodoxy
понятия веры вне
and
православия?
the faith
Знаете,
out
где?
of orthodoxy?
Там, вне православия.
Out of
Вера —
orthodoxy,
это что?
faith
Это что?
is
В прямом смысле слова я верю,
is
что есть
belief.
Бог, есть Христос,
In the direct
что
meaning
Он
of the
что-то
word,
сделал.
I believe
Я
there
верю
is
во все
God,
догматы,
there is Jesus
верю.
Christ who did this and that.
Но
I believe all I
каким я
should
был,
believe, but
таким остался.
who I was, I
Когда
still remain
православие
myself
употребляет
with the
понятие
same
веры,
properties. And in the orthodox meaning
оно
of the word of faith,
утверждает, вера —
faith
это изменение
is
жизни.
a change of life.
Мне однажды пришлось читать лекцию в одном
Once
университете, вот так сидят
I was
студенты.
lecturing
Задают вопрос, а что
students at
такое
one
вера
university, and they
православная?
asked me what orthodox faith was.
Ну, от меня можно ожидать иногда
You
чего
can
угодно.
expect anything from me, I'm
Я
so
взял,
unpredictable.
завопил,
And I
пожар.
started yelling fire.
Они все в ужасе смотрят на меня.
They looked at me horrified.
Я говорю, а что это вы сидите?
And I said, why are you sitting here?
Ага, не поверили.
Ah, you didn't
А
trust,
если
didn't
б
believe
поверили,
me.
тут
If
же бы
you
вылетели во все двери и
have
окна.
believed me, you would have
Поняли
run out of
теперь, что
here,
такое вера?
out of all doors and windows. You see what faith is. Yes,
Вот о чем говорит православие.
Orthodox
Вера
speaks of
это
it.
изменение
Faith is a
жизни.
change of life.
Какое изменение? По
What
вере.
change?
Пожар?
According to this
Бежать.
faith. Fire? Run.
Вот чем отличается наше
Here is the
православное
difference of
понимание,
our orthodox
само понятие,
understanding,
слышите, само слово вера. От
the understanding
того,
of
вы
the
знаете,
word faith,
стандартного,
of this
обычного,
standard,
бездушного,
regular,
я верю в Бога, я
that
православный.
notion, I
Господи,
believe in
ну,
God,
замолчал
I'm
бы,
orthodox.
чтобы
Oh,
люди
really?
были соблазнены
You would better not
своим
speak.
православием. Он
It's
верит.
difficult for
Давай
people to
выпьем
understand what your
за
orthodoxy is about.
православие.
Let's
Да.
just drink to
Так
orthodoxy.
вот, я попытаюсь сделать вывод из этого.
So I would
Итак.
like to sum up and to make a conclusion.
Вера в Бога имеет
Belief
под
in
собой
God,
основания.
faith, has
По крайней мере, два основных основания.
fundament and
Первое.
has reasons for it,
Это
grounds for
существование
it.
вот этого
First,
мира,
the existence
космоса
of this world, space, cosmos, and of a human being first of all. This is an amazing fact. One French scientist, Bonnet, said, "It is enough just for me to look at a person's arm. I'm impressed by the how complex it is. It is enough to believe there is God." The modern scientists say it is enough to take a look at one single cell. It is so complicated. It is enough to make sure there is God. Indeed, the anthropic principle is the fundamental principle of all life, of the material side of our world. And secondly, the verification principle. It is a scientific principle. The scientific truth is only, I pay your attention, is only something that can be verified, that can really be verified. There are unreal things. For instance, I claim that in constellation of Cancer there are crayfish. Nobody seems to believe. Well, prove the opposite. That's why we call it the constellation of Cancer, because there are crayfish. But you're such terrible people, students. They are saying, "Alexei Ильич, please, you prove that there are crayfish in that constellation." Oh, and I say, right, you are. There is also a great experience of people who made sure there is God. They understood what great good it is, people who gave their life, who underwent tortures and proved their conviction with tortures, death and blood. Inner experience. These are the points that are the arguments, very powerful arguments in favor of God's existence. And what now? Now we can talk about other things. But I can't help saying, I have one remark to make. In face of all these things, what is our faith of us, believers? We believe in God. Of course, it is obvious to believe in God. When we see a car, we believe there is someone who made that car. What is so special about it? There is no faith required. The fact that we believe in God, it is just nothing. But the faith of atheists, I just envy them immensely. No grounds, absolutely, but they do believe there is no God. I just can't help wondering, how did they make their faith so strong? Absolutely no grounds, and they keep believing there is no God. Some academics write, you read them, and you think, are these first-year pupils such naive ideas? Where did they come from? Did they come out of a cave? Here is faith. I think that compared to their faith, our faith is just, I don't mean the contents of their faith, but the strength of their faith is remarkable indeed. You see, I said, the strength of their faith. You should believe there are no non-believers. There are believers in God, and there are believers that there is no God. And they say, I am a non-believer. Oh, this sounds so great. Why do you believe there is no God? Come on, answer me. Okay. These are some ideas. These are just some ideas, just off the top, you know, of my head. But sometimes we have to do this just to get acquainted with some thoughts, ideas. It is necessary. But we have many steps ahead of us. We should speak about the religion, which of them is true. Here are so many things to tell you. Why Orthodoxy is the true religion, and what is the way of the spiritual life. And this is all very difficult. We will try to talk of it a little bit, but just a little bit. Here at our school we have a special course of history of religion, and it goes through the history of all, I wanted to say all religions, but it is impossible, through the main religions, and they are being looked through and they are being studied. And when you will study this, you will see a lot of facts. You will see the teachings of religions, you will see the moral principles and values, you will see their notions and understanding of God, of a human being. You will see it all in order to be able to compare Christianity and other religions. And it is the question. You imagine how much knowledge you need to have, how fundamentally you have to study Christianity and other religions. A lot of people went through this. It was done by people who looked for God in the beginning of the 20th century. They studied Hinduism, Hindu religions, Buddhism, Judaism, and of course they studied the Muslim religion, partially Judaism, but more probably the religion of the Old Testament. But it is a lot of work, it is too difficult, I guess we're too lazy for this, and it requires a lot of time. Perhaps you heard the name of monk Seraphim Rose. He went through this. He really studied it all. He didn't just study, he studied languages in order to read these sacred books of these religions. It is the way due to which he came not just to Christianity, but even to Orthodoxy, in order to make sure which religion is true. There is one very important and essential question, due to which, and having answered which, we will be able to solve this complicated question. Not because it's complicated as a contents, it's just complicated because the volume is huge, there are many religions. And the question is as follows. Every religion, regardless of which religion it is, can be asked, could you please provide arguments in favor of divine origin of your faith? Which religion is true, that has divine origin, not earthly, not what people could make up? We could make up anything, and many things are being made up. But We're interested in the divine origin of a religion, because if this religion has its source, God as a source, consequently it is a true religion by notion. God is truth. God is truth, and this question should be asked to every religion, and we should listen to their answers. Don't forget this question, please. You will need it a lot.